nothing happens today and you don't have to do anything. There's just two things I need to know. Do you still get do you do your statements online or do they send it to you in the mail? Okay, come over here. In the top right hand corner of your statement's going to have your grouping. It's going to let us know. The other question is your dog won't bite me, right?
No.
Okay. In this line of work, I have to ask. I've had my fair share of stories. We just take a quick seat. It takes like 3 minutes, and then I'll get you back to your day. Is it inside or outside?
Yeah, inside.
Okay, cool. Are my shoes on okay?
Perfect.
All right. Cool. All right, right here, son. Before we get too comfortable, can I ask you a favor? Mind if I ask you for a glass of water? Sure. Cool, thanks. And also, while you're up, you said you get your statements on in the mail, right? Go ahead and grab your statement.
So the purpose of asking the water is to go get them, to have them go get the bill.
Yeah. Go ahead. No. I want you to literally go get your bill for a second. Thanks, brother. We're gonna do real live role play here. You can be gone for literally be gone for a minute or so. No, the purpose of them getting me the water is so I believe in sales. You need to show me a sign that you will be getting me stuff. So I asked that because if you show strong resistance right there to getting me water, it means that you're not really a nice person. You should get me water. It'd be nice if you did that. But yeah, it's for me to gauge and get them comfortable with them giving me stuff. What's up, bro? How are we doing, man?
I'm good.
Cool, awesome. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate that. That's good. All right. Now, you mentioned you've been here for 10 years, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll recognize all these houses here. Actually, it's something like this. You'll recognize these houses here. All these little orange dots. These are the homes that are in line right now to try and get the lowered rate.
Okay.
Now, has anyone explained to you why they can do the lowered rate here in Edison's territory?
No.
It actually has to do with how Edison charges us.
Okay.
How often does Edison charge you? How often do you pay your bill?
Once a month.
So we pay the bill once a month, but we actually get charged 2 times by Edison. Does this look familiar right here? Yeah, this is page 3 of your Edison bill. Your first set of charges are delivery charges. This is where they send power. The second set of charges is generation charges. This is where they create the power. Do you have any questions about how you're currently being charged?
See you.
Okay. Your average bill since March of 2010 has been $70.50. How do you feel about that, Ian?
It's pretty high. Can't make it right now.
I feel you on that. I got to pay the bill at my house too. I know exactly how that is. I just got done over at the Trans. I don't know if you know Randy.
I remember.
Okay.
Lots of things.
So Randy, he felt the same way. And what he found is that obviously if he had the way to pay half the price for the same thing coming into the house, he'd rather do that. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah.
That's how everybody is. The reason these programs opened up is because Edison messed up on the power supply. So the state opened up a program where if a homeowner helps create power on their home, the utility companies, in this case Vivint, will pay to put your solar up. The cost has been paid for, so you don't pay for anything. And now, there's no more delivery. You take out half the process, and that's what gives you half of the rate. Does that make sense why they're willing to do that?
Okay. Yeah.
As it was recently explained to me, as opposed to having to pay for 15 miles of travel, you're only paying for 15 feet. That's why they're willing to do it at a lower cost.
That's a good cost.
Okay, so let me tell you all the things that I'd want to know if I was in your shoes as a homeowner looking into the program. The first thing is, what's the highest amount that Edison's allowed to charge you now? 31 cents. With this here, it's a flat 15 cents. Questions about how the rate works? Okay. Maintenance works the same way it does now. If something goes wrong with Edison's power lines out here, what company utility truck will you see out there? Edison, right? Same thing here. It's all owned and operated by the utility company that owns it. So nothing changes the same way you're already used to.
Cool.
Any questions about maintenance?
Yeah.
Okay. Rates. Edison changes the rate every year. Ian, does the rate go up or down?
It goes up.
I wish it went down.
Me too.
I'm a renter where I live, so I don't have this option. I'm stuck paying Edison's rate. You're right, my rate goes up every year. There's a minimum and maximum that they're allowed to increase. Do you know what the rate increases are?
6 to 10%.
did you know
I
that?
just read up a lot.
Wow, you're the first guy I've ever done this with that knows that. Yeah, that's awesome, and you're right. It's a minimum of 6%, maximum of 10. That's the other reason why people are doing this. If you create your own power on your house, you get rid of your minimum and maximum, and it gives you a flat rate of 2.9, and they guarantee that for 20 years. Any questions about the rate? Okay. Moving works the same way it does now. The people that lived in this house before you got power from Edison, the bill's now in your name. What did you have to do to get it in your name?
Make a quick call.
Make a phone call, it transfers over. It's the same thing here. Any questions about moving? All right. At this point in time, if they ask me, what happens if the new person comes in and doesn't want it? Or what happens if I move in like a month? Or whatever questions, then I address. That's a really good question. Actually becomes a selling point on your house because now I can show them this red stuff is not good, and this green stuff would be a selling point on your house. So I get to tell them, yep, it's a good thing because when you move from the home, they simply have to call, but you get to advertise during your sale that because this program is here on the house, you pay half the amount of power that everybody else does here. That's a benefit for you. Payments. Edison does everything through the electronic debit. Do you still send your check in the mail or do you do it online like everyone else? Still send the mail? Okay. You can actually still do that if you want. They just save you some money in the process of doing it. How much are stamps these days? I don't know. I don't send anything in the mail.
Couple cents, 30 cents, I don't know.
30 cents. You,
Or net
49? Yeah, you know better than me. I don't send anything in the mail anymore. But you can actually still write it. Now, when your check gets to Edison now, they take the routing number and the account number and they plug that into a computer. That's how they move the money from your bank. Everything's done electronically now. So what they'll do is you can still write it here on your end, but instead of you having to send the check and every month, you can just call in and verify the amount and then it'll pay it for you. So it still works the same as it does now, and it'll set up through the same account that you've been paying with Edison. The reason I bring it up is because your statements are a lot easier to understand. What do you do for work, Ian?
Construction.
Oh yeah? How long have you been doing that?
20 years.
20 years? Well, your 20 years beats my 2 years of doing this, so I'm sure you're a lot smarter than me. If you look here, this is page 3 of an Edison bill, and I'm sure we can both agree that is a complicated process in how they bill us. You got all these tiers. Here's how your new statement will look now. There's only one rate, 15 cents. You take the total amounts you use, you do third grade math, and you multiply those numbers to end up with your total bill. The taxes are all built into the 15 cents. Questions about how your statement works?
That's simple.
Okay. They also let you know they got to verify the account that you've been paying with Edison. You mentioned that you still send the check in the mail, right? As you see here, I've got your neighbor's voided checks. They collect a voided check from whatever account it is that you've been paying, and you'll see a $1 charge on that account. They do this in to make sure it's the account that you've been paying your electric bill with. In the event you're not approved, don't worry. Your retirement goes back into your account. They'll give you your $1 back. Okay, they'll let you know that invoice. 2 other things you need to know, and then you go back to your day. The usage is monitored by the meter. The panels are monitored by the internet, like everything. They let you know that if the internet was to go down for longer than 1 year, which, Ian, let's be honest, it's 2015. If the internet goes out for longer than an hour in my house, I'm already in a panic. Right? It's not going to happen, but I have to let you know that if it went out for longer than a year, you get billed your average bill, whatever it was. Last thing is you're always connected through Edison's grid as a backup. This is so that if anything was to happen to the panels, you'll never lose power here in the house. I've been doing that. Good. So that's the program that opened up as a result of what the power supply is here in the state of California. Looking at the option that you have here, what are the downsides that you see about the program?
Everything was good.
And Ian, that's the hardest part of my job, is that everyone suffers from a disease called TGTBT. You know what that means?
It's good to be true.
You're the first guy I've also met that knew that. That's great. You have all my acronyms in my whole presentation. This is crazy. Yes, it does stand for too good to be true. That's the hardest thing for people to accept on this thing. But they make that part easy for me. Because as they do the homework on your house to see if you can even do this, you're going to be getting an email here in about 15 minutes that has all the links so that you can go do your homework to see whether or not this is even an option that you want to be able to take advantage of. The other question I ask is, besides saving money, what would be your reasons for wanting to do it?
Actually, I was thinking about replacing my roof like a year or so. That'd probably be the only downside.
Oh, you think about changing your roof?
Yeah.
That's what's nice about these programs. When they survey your house, they're going to actually give you an assessment on the roof of whether or not it needed to be changed. That's going to be a benefit to you. But in the event that it does, they already have the options in place so you can still take advantage
Okay.
Okay. Any other downsides you see with it?
Nah, does it cost me anything to take them down or put them back up?
Yeah, in the event that you have to take them off, they do have that because it's labor intensive for them. But the reality is with the size of your build, within your first year, if you change this thing down the road, and they'll let you know if it needs to be changed before then. If you change this thing down the road, you won't miss out on the savings that you can have now, because how much does it cost to change a roof? $8,000. Yeah, 7 to 10 grand, right there, somewhere in there. So $500 is a drop in the bucket either way when you're changing out your roof. It's not a big deal. The big deal is now you can start saving on the power immediately. But good question. A lot of people ask that. I'm sure that makes you feel better about it. Yeah. Cool. What other downsides would you see about it?
I mean, it sounds good. What's the next step?
Yeah, well, the next step is, my next question is, besides saving money, what would be your reasons for wanting to do it?
Going green. I see a lot of my neighbors have solar already.
Yeah.
I know most of them purchased it, but you said it on the page, so.
No, I feel that's the one thing I love about working with this company is that it's the right way we should get our power, right? You don't have to nasty byproduct of